All right, you're welcome to the podcast Truth to Power. And Truth to Power is a podcast where we x-ray minority persecuted groups in Nigeria with special interest in northern Nigeria. Today on the program, we will be x-raying how Christians are treated in Nigeria and the perception of Christians. In a recent sermon that was preached by Sheikh Gumi, a popular Islamic scholar in northern Nigeria, he berated Christians, saying that Christians should not be allowed to be in charge of security or power because each time they are in charge of security or power, they kill. Ironically, that does not seem to be the popular or common stance of everybody in respect of this issue. And so many people have been reacting to it because at this vantage point in time in Nigeria, people are very careful of the kind of comments they make. And this comment coming now has sort of ached so many people, most especially the Christian communities and also the liberal Islamic community. They are not quite comfortable with it. And like we also know, so many of them are also very okay with it. Nigerians have reacted. In a recent reaction, Chief Femi Fani-Kayode reacted to the comment from the Islamic cleric. Let's listen to him, and we'll be right back.
I'm not too concerned about the rantings of this little monkey against the government, because there are many people that are in government that are paid to respond to him and handle that. And I am not in government. However, I am concerned about his rantings against the Christian community and against what I believe to be Southerners generally, both Christian and Muslim. That's how I'm reading all that he has said. Now, he has said Christians cannot be trusted with power because when in power and when they're in control of guns or when they're in power, they kill people, they kill leaders, they kill followers, they kill. Whereas Muslims do not. But let me ask him this question. Was it the Christians that slaughtered over 100,000 people in northern Nigeria in 1966 in pogroms? Was it the Christians that killed over 300 Igbo officers in the July 29th, 1966 counter-coup? Was it Christians that slaughtered people all over the north from 1970 up until the present day? All over the north, slaughtered Christians, whether it be through Boko Haram, ISWAP, Maitatsini, and so many other extremist, barbaric, terrorist organizations. Was it a Christian that said that he would rather die than allow a Muslim to rule over the affairs of Nigeria? Was it not Sheikh Ahmed Gumi's father, Sheikh Abubakar Gumi, that rather said that he would rather die than to allow a Christian to rule our country? And amazingly, he died a few months later, and a Christian took power. All the butchery and the mass murders that have taken place in northern Nigeria and even parts of southern Nigeria, in Zangon Kataf, in southern Kaduna, in Numan in Adamawa State, in Benue State, in Taraba State, in Plateau State, all over the north, where Christian communities were targeted by various Islamist groups and various terrorist groups and butchered in their homes and hacked to pieces. And even parts of the south, when the Fulani herdsmen were down in the south, butchering people as far as the east, as far as Yorubaland, northern Yorubaland, and as far as parts of the south. Were these people that perpetuated these as Christians? Or are they terrorists? I won't call them Muslims, I'll call them terrorists, because they do not represent Islam. These people were butchers and barbarians, rather like Hamas. And what they were doing to people is precisely what Hamas did to the Jews on October 7th of this month.
That was Chief Femi Fani Kayode expressing his views in respect of what Sheikh Mahmoud Gumi said in that particular sermon. By the way, I will just paraphrase what he said in that sermon. Watch and listen.
Soja ko ɗan sanda ko SS ba za a yi amfani da su a cuce ka ba, kuma ba kai ma Kiristan da kake magana ka san ba za a yi amfani
soldiers, police, SS, they will not use them to cheat you. You know, they will not use them, even you as Christian, to cheat you. I want you to understand the difference. When you give Christians leadership, they will do anything possible to cheat us, the Muslims. For instance, if you give the Christians guns and all kind of weapons, they will use it to cheat us, the Muslims. Let me give you an example. So Donald, was he not a prime minister? Who killed him? Okay, you gave them guns. Major Ezogu killed him. Murtala Muhammad, the commander-in-chief, who killed him? Dimka is from the north. Babangida, who wanted to kill him? Was it not Gideon Oka? If you don't have weapons, that's all, you are finished. They will just kill you and wipe you away. If you don't have weapons as Muslims and the Christians have weapons, they will just come and finish you and wipe you away. You Muslims, if you don't have weapons, they will just come and wipe you away. There's this Tanzania, Ali Muzuri, that said leadership, there's no how power is given to any kind of person. You don't transcend power. If you must give leadership, there must be some rules that guides it. That the important position must be with us. How can you give leadership and then run away to go and hide this country? I'm sorry. If Israelites come to this country, we know what they are capable of doing. They are going to wipe us away. How did they kill Jafar? May so recipes. How did they kill the same way they kill Albani, and they are still killing?
Gashi na suna kashewa. Ai list ne guda shida tun duniya ga yamu security. Me yasa yan sandan
Those were just extracts from the sermon by Sheikh Gumi. This particular sermon was done on the 13th of October 2023. Having heard all of this as Sheikh Gumi operating from northern Nigeria, we will be looking at northerners also adding their voice to this, because the general impression is that everybody in the north holds the line of Sheikh Gumi. I'll be getting a young man, a youth leader, one that is conscious of his cultural identity. I can even say he is a cultural activist, because he's one young man that's extremely very active when it comes to promotion and propagation of peace, unity, and progress of the Middle Belt region and Kaduna State. I want to introduce to you Edward John Auta. You are welcome to Truth to Power.
Thank you for having me.
All right. You heard the comments from Sheikh Abubakar Gumi in respect of Christians should not be given position of power, and that each time they're in power, they kill and all of that. And first, what's your reaction to this? The comment from Sheikh Gumi.
Well, first and foremost, I would say I'm not surprised. Bringing into question the character of the person that we're talking about. We know that Sheikh Ahmad Gumi and his father are a perfect example of Islamic fundamentalism. Their brand of Islam has always been extreme. It's been completely different from what we would call modern Muslims. Muslim Islam that is interested in the peace and unity of this country. So I'm not surprised if these comments were coming from a different clinic. Probably I would have been shocked. But I'm not surprised, because extremism and this kind of views have been the stock in trade of Sheikh. But secondly, I would also say that it is unfortunate that Sheikh Gumi is making this kind of commentaries at a time that Nigeria is in dire with that Nigeria is in their need of peace and development. Anyone who has been following the developments in Nigeria, in particular reference to politics, would know that the last 1 year has not been easy for this country, especially owing to the Muslim ticket mantra that the APC, ruling APC, presented to Nigeria, and how it has contributed to widening the gaps of division. Just tradition in this country. So, for people to be making this kind of a comment at this point in time, we need comments that will entrench peace and unity.
Quite unfortunate from someone that is supposed to be a unifier, because with his position, one would expect that he'll be creating bridges of unity and peace. Not forgetting too that even in the last administration, he severally traveled to the various bandit camps, saying or claiming that he wants to create an opportunity for the bandits to repent, lay down their arms, and join the mainstream. Now, having looked at these comments coming from someone like Sheikh Gumi, and knowing that yes, he has quite a lot of followers on one hand, then secondly, there are people that, not necessarily his followers, but there are other people that do not understand Islam in totality that may want to jump on this. What do you think may be the possible outcome of a comment like this coming from Gumi?
Of course, Gumi has always thrived in controversies. And if you look at his commentaries as far as politics and governance is concerned in Nigeria or in northern Nigeria, you will know that they have been sensational. So for me, I feel it is one of the strategies that he has been employing to win the Goli population of northern Nigeria, particularly the Islamic population. These are the kind of things that the Goli Muslims in northern Nigeria want to hear. And so long he told that line, he is going to keep his followership intact and possibly regain more followers, because a lot of Islamic clerics in the north that want to attract followership cheaply or easily always told these kind of lines. Begin to come up with silence that portray you as a hater of Christians or as a champion of Islamic domination against Christians in northern Nigeria. Those kind of messages said very, very fast. So I see Gumi exploiting the ignorance of the largely uninformed northern Islamic population to either sustain his followership page to expand it. So basically that is what this gimmick is all about. But unfortunately, it is affecting the unity, the peace, and the progress of this country negatively. And it is something that every right-thinking Nigerian, every right-thinking northern, whether Christian or Muslim, must condemn. If for those that have been in Nigeria or those that have read through the history books, it is clear that governance and corruption in this country has never taken, I would say, failure in governance or corruption in this country has never taken any ethnic or religious dimension.
No.
There has never been a time in this country that Nigeria has been governed by strictly Christians or adherents of a particular religion or natives of a particular tribe or a particular zone or a particular state. At every point in time, whether during military or civilian nations, you find out that it has been a blend of people from the north and the South from different ethnic nationalities and as well as multi-religious dimensions. So any administration that fails, you cannot pin it down to a particular individual. So the failure in governance, or the corruption that we face today, even the INEC that we are talking about, the INEC is headed by a Muslim, but INEC is an institution.
Yeah.
So when INEC fails, it is not just the person that is heading INEC. It is the totality of that institution that has failed to deliver good governance. And there are Christians, there are Muslims, and there are even people probably that do not have any religion, atheists and what have you. So for anybody to now come and pin issue of performance or insecurity or the identity or killings and what have you to a particular religion, I think that person needs mental evaluation. But for those who know the person in question, they are not supposed to be surprised, because that has been personal security.
Okay, having gotten to this point now, and knowing that in Nigeria, people do things and get away with it almost all of the time. Listening to FFK's observation and so many other comments from different people reacting to that, they are expecting that at this point in time, the security agencies should have invited Sheikh Gumi to come explain what it meant and to further clarify. Unfortunately, when some of our media colleagues attempted to speak with him, he sent just a text message that I wouldn't want to repeat here, saying that he does not react to whatever I would hang in there. Now, do you think that at this point in time, the security agency should invite him to come clarify, or what do you think should be the next step now? Because if I feel personally, if this is left unanswered, maybe some other persons that have extremist tendencies will also want to also do this. What would you think should be the way out of this, or how to caution future repetition of stance like this for people?
If the Nigerian security agencies, the Department of State Services, the DSS, and the police in particular, if they were to rise to the occasion, Gumi should have been embarrassed by now. Because like I said, this is not the first time that he has dared the Nigerian state, that he has provoked Nigerian system, that he has dared the Nigerian security agencies and whatever it did. But in a serious country, people like Sheikh Ahmed should not have a place among us. They should be behind bars. Anybody who will be selling the brand of Islam, like Sheikh Ahmed is selling over, has been selling over the years, should not be allowed. We expect that the least we expected from the government and its security agencies since this thing happened is that we should have been invited. Even if it is a form of pretense, we should have been invited. We recall that there was a time that Sheikh Gumi made certain comments about elections in his country, and the DSS invited him. Yeah. And those comments that he made were his fundamental rights. First, as a voter in this country. Secondly, as a leader of thought, and also as a religious leader in this country. He made very patriotic statements that were misconstrued. But to the extent that such comments were not, he was invited by the DSS to come and make clarifications. So why is Sheikh Gumi moving freely all the time? He has severally visited bandit camps made with bandit leaders, and made very, very sensitive and provocative statements. Nobody has ever invited him. So what type of country, what type of system are we operating? Is Gumi above the law? Or what is the Nigerian government trying to portray at this point in time? So I feel strongly that it is better late than never. Sheikh Ahmed Gumi should be invited. He should come and explain what he means by those callings that he made, which have since gone viral.
Yes.
So that when his explanations are not satisfactory, he should be made to face the full wrath of the law. Nobody should be appropriate. For me, as a Christian from northern Nigeria, this statement is highly complicated. And I believe if it were the other way around, by now there would have been a lot of protests. Probably it would have even degenerated into some form of religious crisis in claiming the lives of people. So the government of Nigeria should take steps to arrest the situation so that other Islamic clerics do not toe the line of Gumi. Or we do not have a situation where Christian clerics will now start responding or will now start making inciting statements, against Muslims.
Wow. You have heard that. And I believe that it is very loud and clear. There is no room for persons to come make inciting statements that can lead to breakdown of law and order. I want to thank you so very much for having time to be on this podcast today. Thank you so very much.
Thank you once again for having me.
Edward John Auta, as a young man, I would say, number one. Secondly, he is a cultural activist. He's passionate about the growth and development of his people, the people of Southern Kaduna. Then thirdly, he is also a voice in Middle Belt, Nigeria, that Southern Kaduna is a part of. And each time that we invite him to add a voice to anything that we are discussing, is always adding value and adding a new, fresh angle to our discussion. Until next time, when you'll be on again for another episode of Truth to Power. Remember, Truth to Power is proudly supported by Truth Nigeria. And you can visit Truth Nigeria at truthnigeria.com and get more details about Nigeria and telling the truth about Nigeria as we also speak truth to power. My name is Ehis Agbon.